What up, and welcome to a new episode of Creeps of the Crypt. This is episode 30, and it's a special episode because it's episode 30, and we're both live for the first time in living color for all the people who are complaining about us not being on screen. Now we're on screen, and we got a good episode to talk about today. But to be honest, we already had a conversation, and we kind of decided to scrap that. But if you want, you could check that out on Locals. We have a Locals. If you go down to the description of this video, it says community. You click on there. It's $2 a month. It's not that much money. It's like the cheapest Patreon type of thing you're ever going to get. And you'll get to see like those little bonus things. And there's also going to be, I'm working on it right now, a bunch of our podcast, the audio form only, because we didn't record previously, of just the unedited episodes that we've done. And also we're going to be doing, hopefully we're going to work this out. I don't know how we're going to do it. We were doing commentary for the films of Tales from the Crypt, and I'm thinking about actually reviewing the comics and talking about the stories as like an extra thing. Don't know if that's going to be weekly because that'll be too much, maybe monthly.
Yeah, we can make it happen. We got a couple of issues we can go over and maybe do some new stuff that never got covered in an episode.
Yeah, and besides that, the Locals is also for my YouTube page, so if you subscribe to the YouTube page, you see all the videos there. You'll see all those videos there as well. Also uncensored versions of my first time watching videos. And I'll probably put extra stuff on there too. So yeah, so that's that. So, and also this layout's going to change a little bit. I like how it's set up right now, but it might change a little bit more later on. But anyway, Alan, now that that's all out of the way, even though we already talked about this, how you been before we get into the episode?
Been good. Just doing my little side thing. I'm trying to get a side hustle on top of. Well, this is more for fun, but hey, you never know. We might end up making some big bucks here on get a Rumble exclusive contract. You know, like some successful other broadcasters that we that we frequently talk about and shit on. But no, I've been good. Just been I got my little hustle going there. I'm into colognes and perfumes, so I sold a couple today. I dropped off at the post office just before beating the rush hour of people dropping shit off for Memorial Day. But by the time you guys hear this, it already have been past Memorial Day. So figured I'd mention that. How about you? How you been doing?
I'm all right. I got a new chair. I don't know if, that's on the unedited version. It's already up for the last episode we did.
Oh yeah, you sent me that link. I need to get that. It looks pretty comfy.
Yeah, this actually, you can see, is taller.
Yeah, you got some room there to put your head back there.
Yeah, and it has a massager as well.
Massager?
It comes with a little, the little back pouch. As you can connect it to a USB, and it massages you. It's not very good, but it's something.
It's something, right?
Oh, and the seats.
You take it off because that should be kind of annoying being there.
Oh
right?
yeah, no, it's often. But the one thing is fantastic. Is this? I guess my ass was hurting so badly before on the old one, on the old chair, that when I took it was like this, dude. The seat was like that. It was angled down, and then this
it would just keep going down, right?
I guess, and then also the whole seat went down 2 inches, so it was like this, and the seat was down 2 inches.
Jesus.
Yeah, but yeah. So I got a new chair. I'm happy with my new chair. So that's what matters the most. But anyway, let's get into this episode. We're talking about season 3, episode 5, called Top Billing, which aired June 26, 1991. And it was directed by Todd Holland and written by Myles Berkowitz. It stars Jon Lovitz, John Astin, and a couple other people. The one girl who I always confuse with the girl from SNL is in here, Kimmy Roberts. I always confuse her with that weirdo girl from SNL. I forgot her name. Victoria Jackson. I always confuse those two. I always think, oh, Kimmy Roberts, she's in a bunch of stuff, but she was not in SNL.
Yeah, she does look like her, huh?
Yeah, I always confuse her. She was in the Willies? Oh, yeah, she was in the Willies. Yes, she was in the Willies. And Twin Peaks, your favorite.
Yeah. She kind of plays the same character in a lot of these the roles that she's in. She's in this episode very briefly, but I know her mainly from Twin Peaks.
Yeah, and Todd Holland directed a bunch of stuff, but nothing really that stands out to me is like amazing. He did the Michael J. Fox show. The Real O'Neills. I guess I don't know what that is. That looks stupid. And Malcolm in the Middle, a few episodes, mostly TV stuff. Berkowitz, he didn't write that many things. It was back to the writers that just wanted to write for the first time. But he did come up with the story for an episode of Charles in Charge, and Charles in Charge was my favorite. Growing up, I used to come home and love watching that. I used to come on that and the Hogan Family. For younger people, you're not going to know these shows. But these were like back to back when you get home. When I used to get home from school, I used to watch that. I guess, I don't know, maybe when I was like 10. Because before it was like, you come home, you watch cartoons. But it was like...
that was it for me, yeah. Going home, watching the Batman animated series and all the good cartoons back then. Warner Brothers had going on. Yeah,
the Batman animated series was later for me because I was like 14 or 13 at the time. Well, I still loved the first 2 seasons. I didn't get that into it after, and I didn't watch Batman Beyond, though my brother loved it because he was younger than me, so he was into that. And Gargoyles. See, when I got home, there was the Disney Hour or the Disney Block.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was like DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, the Gargoyles. These were the shows that they would air. And once they had Gargoyles, I was not a fan. I was like, I don't like Gargoyles. A lot of people loved Gargoyles. I was not a fan of that. But anyway.
Never got into it, but I've seen it as a kid. Yeah, John's a few years older than me, but he's acting like I'm 20 years his senior over here sometimes. I mean, we got to experience the dial-up era.
Yeah, we're old. I'm old. He's much younger than me. I'm a grandfather. Yeah. So anyway, this guy did come up with the story for Charles in Charge episode. So that's the only probably like interesting thing I can say about him. But why don't you give us a little synopsis of what this episode's about, so the people at home can hear.
For sure, yeah. Well, like you mentioned, the episode called Top Billing. John Lovitz plays like a guy named Barry. He's kind of a struggling actor, and then he kind of, to summarize a little bit, without getting into spoilers, he runs into one of his old classmates after a failed audition, and he's pretty bitter against him because this dude looks like Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, this guy, and he gets all the roles because he's got that look. Everyone always mentions it. He's got that look to him, and if you've seen John Lovitz, he's if anyone's watched SNL during the 90s or 80s, it was on there. And I mean, the cartoon I knew him from was the Critic, but I think I was too young to watch it to really get the jokes. But I watched a few recently. John Lovitz is great. I think he's a very underrated actor, or well, at least a comedic actor. But this one he's played a little bit more serious. Just kind of the loser archetype in a way. He's just hasn't had much luck with his auditions, and he's very, very serious about his acting and just hates everything about like the more superficial parts of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a little bit of the synopsis for this one. But he's willing to do anything for the role, pretty much.
Yeah, almost. But most actors will do anything for the role. I know actors, they'll almost. Well, I know he won't do anything, but there are people.
Yeah, I want to throw him on the spot, but yeah, you know some actors.
I know some other ones that they will do anything, and it's pretty disgusting. But I will say that you are correct. This is not a role I normally would see John Lovitz in, but I liked this episode when I previously would watch it. It was one of my favorite ones of this season, to be honest. It was up there. It was a higher rated.
For sure, yeah.
But rewatching it now for this podcast, watching it and I'm looking at Lovitz and I'm like, he's so different. He's not playing it like a comedic. There are funny parts in it a little bit, but he's not playing it like Lovitz. He's playing it like a real actor trying to get work. Like a real guy that's an actor who's struggling and everything's going wrong for him. He just wants to work and he can't. And he'll, like you said, he'll do anything for the job, but he just really plays it like he's not John Lovitz. See, because we all know him as this guy from SNL, the Master Thespian character. He was acting, right? Or he played. He has a bunch of characters on SNL, and he was great. And like one of my favorite parts of The Wedding Singer, which I do love that movie, is John Lovitz in that whole, can he move like this? So I was really surprised watching this again. But yeah, you're right. he's so different in this, and also the
Yeah,
critic.
he plays it straight for sure in this one. Like even though I've seen John Lovitz, he's even when he's trying to come off more serious or just more realistic of a person. Yeah, it's just watching him just bumble around and just be just being down on his luck. It's just it just still makes me want to laugh because he does a good job and just the way he looks.
Yeah.
It's hard to take him a bit seriously. I mean, that's why they probably got him for this. But I know might be a little bit more to that. But I found it worked. It worked, and I think he really did a good job on this one, playing it straight.
Yeah, I originally thought they cast him because of his character in because that's the same thing with the crit. Like, so I thought they cast him in this because of his character, the Master Thespian on SNL, because he was making fun of actors or whatever. Then he was on the Critic, I think after this. I don't think the Critic was around this time. I think the Critic was in the early 90s. Well, this was early 90s also, but I think it was like 94. I think this episode is, what did I say, 91? Yeah, 91. So
Yeah, 91.
I'm not sure about the Critic, when the Critic was. I should probably look that up before opening my mouth and putting my foot in it. But
yeah, I'm trying to pull it up right now. Some reason I'm not seeing it on here.
I know you'd have to go
IMDb.
like.
Oh, there we go. 94. It ran. Damn, I didn't know the show ran that long. 94 through 2001. The Critic ran.
Yeah, and like you, I didn't understand the jokes. They went over my head. I was like, why do people like this? There's nothing funny about it. But then I rewatched it recently on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my god, this is hilarious. I was like, this is really funny. So yeah, it's interesting. He's always playing like something involving film. But yeah, this episode, I thought that's why they cast him, but it's not. And he plays it. He doesn't play it like that. But yeah, he comes in and. I don't know. If you put a laugh track, I'm pretty sure you could make it funny, like him walking into and standing there looking weird, because he's not. He's trying to be, like you said. He's the whole episode's that is about that nobody's casting him for anything. So he's going into an audition. We don't know, but he's going in like he's going to kill this woman, who's played by Sandra Bernhardt, who I thought was his agent, but she's not his agent. She's a casting director for a movie. So he's running the lines with her. He comes in to kill her, and when she's like, "Oh no, Leon, don't do it," and he goes, "Go ahead."
Oh, no, sorry. I was saying, yeah, that part was hilarious because it was just like her way she was saying it. I was like, this could have easily been just even this interaction was a little bit maybe unintentionally funny, but also it's because John Lovitz was trying to be the serial killer, and this is why he hasn't been able to get this type of role because like it's just not.
Doesn't look
intimidating enough. Doesn't
exactly.
look it. But I think in these modern times, I think he could make it work. But it's just they were looking for someone that was a bit more intimidating. I guess taller than him too.
He could have played John Wayne Gacy, and you know what I mean? Like John Wayne Gacy looks like him, and he's a real serial killer or whatever. So it's funny, but like when the Hollywood doesn't want that. They were looking for this serial killer to be a hunky man. But he goes in to kill her. She's like, "Oh, you're not right for the part." And he's like, "I haven't eaten in weeks." So he really tries to strangle her. And then she's like, "Get out."
Yeah, just leaving the office dejected and just seeing other people audition. It's like some dude that was like with glasses looking like Mr. Bean. Just
and he's pissed he don't get a part. And then he sees a guy he knows from his past, who's the guy who looks like Gavin Newsom. And he's handsome, and he's like a snake oil salesman, and he's telling him all this bullshit. And he's like, "Do you still live in that garbage apartment we used to?" He goes, "Yeah, I still live there." Like, oh no, he says, "Do you remember that garbage place?" And he goes, "Yeah, I still live there." Right? So he's like, "Oh," and he goes, they start arguing. He goes, "Oh, you sold out." Basically, Lovitz is telling him, like, you sold out. You're just doing stupid commercials now. Which, by the way. Maybe there are some actors like this, but majority of actors I know, they would die to do a commercial. They're like, I need work. So
yeah, when during COVID, most of or even nowadays, you're seeing a lot more actors in these commercials. So it's almost like they're taking away some of that job from these people that would be trying to get these commercials or would die for this.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing a lot of these people. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds doing commercials now. Everybody's doing commercials.
I think that's his company, though. I think he owns that company.
Oh yeah, but it's in that same line. So.
Yeah, that's true. Back in the day, you wouldn't really see actors.
But nowadays, it's common. Yeah.
Yeah, they would go to Japan to do commercials that you wouldn't see here.
Those compilations are hilarious. Like the Arnold ones are freaking fucking crazy and what it's just so random. And Tommy Lee Jones has done so many of them too. When just this Japanese Boss coffee that they got over there.
No,
It's so weird.
They said that
They pay him billions there.
Yeah, that's the thing that these actors would do. I think there's an episode of Friends that talk about this, when Joey goes to Japan to do a commercial. But they say that actors really did do this because at their times where they're not acting and not making money, and they go to Japan to do these commercials like Tommy Lee Jones or these big names because they pay them like a huge amount of money to do, like almost $1 million sometimes.
Yeah, more beneficial than actually doing a movie or a show, because I mean nowadays it's, I know they generally a lot of good actors are out there still working, but they're just not really getting casted for some of these roles. They're just kind of giving it out to these younger generation of actors that suck, and force diversity in these random roles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Barry sees the guy they're talking, and then he's sold out and everything, and he goes, Barry's like, I'm an actor. He's like, yeah, well, maybe if you like fix yourself up, stop looking like a fucking bum, and
yeah, really putting it down on him on that one.
Yeah, stop looking like a bum. Maybe you would get roles, succeed. Like you could change your stuff. He said plastic surgery, bro. That was so fucked up shit, right? I think he says maybe go get yourself some plastic surgery. I'm pretty sure that he said that, or change your look, or he said about the clothes. Then he's pissed.
Yeah,
he leaves
something
him.
like that.
Then he goes sees his agent, and his agent's like people want him. They don't want you. Like you don't have like they just keep shitting on his look. And he's like, I'm an actor. I can act. That's what people should want more than anything. It's But again, the same sense. Dustin Hoffman wasn't getting roles for a long time until I forgot what he did. I don't know how I forgot how he did it. It was a long time. I remember I heard that story, but it's similar. Like their time, you struggle. You just that's why they said fake it till you make it in Hollywood, because you just want to tell people you're doing good, but most people they say I'm an actor, but they're really a waiter, or they're really whatever else. So his agent is basically like, listen, I got to. He goes. I need work. I have expenses, and she's like, I have expenses, and then he's like, well, what the hell am I paying you $250 a week for? I think it's just ridiculous. I don't know if my friend pays that. If he pays that, he's an idiot. If he's paying that amount of money for his agent. And he's got two agents. He's got one in Chicago and one in New Orleans, and they're not getting him any work, really.
Jesus.
One got him a job, and she convinced him not to go because they were basically making him a racist. Like that's what he was. They wanted him. They casted him, and he was going to be a racist. So he was like,
"Hey, roll's a roll, man."
No, she was like, "Don't do it." She's like, "Don't do it." They're not professional, first of all, because they're supposed to tell them what time to see them or whatever. Go meet them. It was money was nothing, and it was like a commercial for Instagram about realtors being racist or something. And she was like, "Don't do it." So he was like, "Okay." But anyway, so she basically gets rid of Barry. She was like, "I'm not making any money. Like your money's not worth it because you're never gonna get a role. So go." He goes home, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
It does get worse. Like he comes back home, and some guy was using the elevator. He had to walk up a bunch of flight of stairs. I forgot.
That was funny. That was funny. I thought that was hilarious. What does he say? He goes,
yeah, it was.
He says, "I just walked up 5 flights of stairs, asshole."
5 flights of stairs, asshole.
He says, "Use the freight elevator," because I guess he was using the real elevator, and he's like, he was so pissed.
He's bringing up like his luggage or something.
No, the guy is.
Oh, right. We find out,
Yeah. So
that they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes to see his girlfriend, and then it's just everyone's just taking all this shit to the elevator, and he's getting evicted, and he's already dejected from this stuff that happened with the failed audition, and she's leaving him for another actor. Because I mean, it seems like they might be doing a bit more better than him right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she mentioned that, but. Yeah, Kimmy Robinson's. I mean, she's playing the same character every time I see her, so it's hard to remember what she was saying. Just low speaking, soft voice.
She basically
maybe
says she
maybe
met
on the
somebody
spectrum.
Else.
I don't know.
No, she basically says she met somebody else, and that actually you're right. She plays every character the same way. She's just I don't know how she's like in the Willies. She plays the same character she's playing in here, and she's in the Willies for like 2 seconds. I'm pretty sure in Honey I Shrunk the Kid she's playing. But anyway, she basically says she met somebody else, and it was the guy who was moving all the stuff. It was all of her stuff being moved out of her apartment, and he was using the regular elevator instead of the freight elevator. And the landlord's in there too, taking shit and then calling him a fucking loser. And he closes the door while
taking his blender.
Yeah, Barry wants to go in, and he sees he's been evicted. And this is one part that bothered me. This is California. This is not New York. But the site says New York. Then they show Canal Street and Avenue D. I'm surprised Lovitz didn't say something. He's from New York. They're not fucking yellow signs for the for the streets. It's green signs, and it was just like I'm like, oh my god. But anyway, forgot to mention earlier while he was at the audition, he saw like one of those little flyers that says new job, be an actor.
Yeah, he pulled a piece of paper from they have him on bulletin boards wherever you go, maybe coffee shops, whatever. But yeah, just looking for more work again. And there's some audition happening in some theater. Yeah. And then the friend mentioned it was in some area was a bad area, I guess.
Yeah. The friend took it from him. Well, not the friend, the guy that used to be his friend took it from him and says, "What's this?" And he goes, "It's a real act." No, because he shows them it's a real acting role. It's Hamlet. Like you couldn't even do this. And he goes, "I bet you I could." And he goes, "No." So then, after everything's going bad for Barry, he goes and he's walking to this weird street, this weird address. It's a half, 895 and a half, I think. So he's going there, and he sees the guy there. The guy's knocking on the door trying to get in. And he goes, "What the hell are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, I figured I'd show you that."
Winton, his name.
Yeah, I figured I'd show you that I could get the part, And he goes, "If they would open the door, I would have gotten it." And then you see this guy come out, and I forgot what this dude's name is. Paul Benedict. So Paul Benedict. Was he in the Jeffersons?
His face looked familiar. I thought he was John Astin for a sec, but then we see him later on after the scene.
I don't know. It says
I forget what this guy's from.
It says this is Spinal Tap. Okay, but I don't remember him from that. But I remember him from some show like from the 70s. That's what I remember him from at least. But I don't know. No, he was in the Jeffersons. Yeah, 202 episodes. I was right. That's on IMDb. It's not the first thing. It should be. It should be right there, the Jeffersons, but it's not. So yeah.
Well, I hope someone John's age, remembers the Jeffersons.
I don't. I'm not that old. Okay. But anyway, he plays like he plays the prop guy, but he's a little effeminate, and they walk in. He lets them both in, and that's when we see John Astin screaming at the actors on stage that they're rehearsing Hamlet. And John Astin, for people who don't know, that aren't old enough, he was the first television Gomez Adams for the Sopranos, for the original Gomez Adams for the Addams Family TV show. So
from the 60s, right?
Yes.
The 60s one.
That was a good one.
And then to tie it back to Michael J. Fox on the last episode we did, he was the judge in The Frighteners.
Oh,
John Astin was.
I gotta watch that again. I haven't seen that in so long. I did love The Frighteners when I first saw it, but I loved everything Michael J. Fox did. But I don't remember anybody else in that movie besides Michael J. Fox. And was it the guy? No, it was Gary Busey's son, right? Luke Busey.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's got his dad's teeth, so you definitely know that's a Busey. What is this?
It was.
I like Jake Busey.
I don't know if it was Jake, because for some reason I thought it was the guy, our favorite guy. Oh, it's not working now. It'll probably work in a few seconds.
You fucking whore!
That guy.
Yeah, he does look like him.
Yeah, I thought it was him for a second, so I was like, oh. But yeah. So this guy, John Astin, is going crazy. He's a loud director, and he has a fake mustache. It's not. I don't know if he did that in the Addams Family. Yeah, it is, right? So it's a callback from the Addams Family. It's painted on. It's not. It's like eyeliner. Was that? I don't. It probably was fake on the Addams Family.
I don't know. I have to rewatch that or see it still. But yeah, he's got one of those like painted on mustaches. It's kind of like this temperamental, highly eccentric director that he plays, and yeah, we get to see him. We get to see him work, and yet again, you know, they go. John Lovitz tries to get this role, and really is gun ho on his proposition. Is I can play Hamlet.
They go into a room and they start because they interrupt him and he goes crazy. Who interrupted me? And then they both point at each other, and then they because he goes, you don't. And so they go to the room, into this room to look. He goes, well, we do have a part available. A part did just become available, right? They'll tell her what the part is. So they go, oh, listen, I'm Barry Bile. I came here for the audition for Hamlet. I'm qualified. I know everything. I studied all the words last night. And that was another thing that was mentioned outside by the other guy. He said, I bet you remembered everything. And I promise you, I don't know anything, but I could get this part over you. So he goes in, he goes, he says, I'm trying to give the most stirring production of Hamlet ever. I want to bring Hamlet, like the feel and to be so real, so realistic. I want to bring it to life, basically. I want people to look at it, stumble upon it, and be like, oh, unbelievable! This is authentic. So he goes. He basically says, he looks at him and he's like, I don't think so. Like he's like kind of like, sorry, Barry, I don't think you got it. The other guy is kind of like, I don't want this part because you're taking it. This is gonna be more work than I was looking for. I was just looking for an easy gig to act. Like, you know, this is too much for this.
Just the one to learn all this shit and all the different way to speak if they're gonna do it the legit way.
Yeah. So then
it's like old English. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to remember that shit?
Oh, that's another thing I mentioned in my reviews. But supposedly in Romeo and Juliet, Leonardo DiCaprio version, they needed people to teach them how to talk like Romeo and Juliet in the movie. So, I'm like, yeah. But
that's one I haven't seen yet of DiCaprio's. I mean, I've seen a good majority of his films.
It's not a bad one. I mean, it's outdated now, and it's very, very gay. I mean, it's very, very gay. I was watching it, and there's a character.
Oh, Happy.
There's a character who's kind of like, I would say, you know, of that persuasion. I don't know what you would call them anymore because they have so many different names. So of that community. And he's the guy he was on Lost and he was on Oz. In Oz, I don't know if you ever saw Oz, he was constantly the guy that was the narrator for the entire episode. So he'd be in the wheelchair. He was the guy in the wheelchair. He was in Lost. He had the son that grew up, and then they had to get rid of him because the kid got too big, too fast. Walt was his kid's name, I think, right? But anyway, so he plays this very effeminate character. I think he's something Mercurial. No, I don't know. Anyway, all I know is he's in the movie. He plays somebody in Romeo's family. You know, family meaning of these group of friends, whatever the hell it is. And then later, but that's not even him. That character, excluding him, I didn't even care about him. There's another character in a scene where Leo's going crazy, crying about that he discovers that Juliet died, and there's a guy who was supposedly going to be a big actor, I think, at that time period, or he was, or something. He was up and coming, and he's just looking at Leo like he wants to suck him off right there. He's just looking at him like, and he touches Leo's body and things, and I'm just like, what am I watching? Did Brian Peck was he involved in this movie? But no, Raj, if you see that scene, maybe I'll show a little clip right here. That guy's looking at him.
Throw it up there. I need to watch that one.
Yeah, that guy's looking at him like, I want to fucking suck your cock. But anyway, John Astin tells this guy's ready to go. He's like, no, I'm leaving. He's no, you got the part. He goes, what part? He goes, you got the part, young man. You're the one. Your face, your structure is perfect for the role. And he's like,
but look.
He's like, really? I got the part? He goes, you didn't want it. John Lovitz is like you didn't want it. You were just gonna leave. And he's like, I told you. What I tell you? I told you I was gonna get the part. And Lovitz is like, looking at him like, but you didn't study. You didn't even want it. And he goes, well, it doesn't matter. And Lovitz has had it, or Barry has had it. He's
reached a breaking point.
Yeah,
he reached that Joker moment. From that movie.
Yeah.
You got the shot of him and dejected, and you see the back of his head while, you know, they're prepping the stage, and he's like getting fitted. He's had it.
Yeah, he's just
tired of walking over me. I'm tired of losing out on these parts.
He turns around and he does look scary. Like at the beginning when he comes in the room.
Yeah, it's like a total contrast to like the beginning. So he actually is feeling it.
Yeah.
That's the stage he's at right now.
He's one
throughout
step
this whole journey.
He's one
leading
step
up to this moment.
he's one step away from being homeless. Like, he's evicted. He's got nothing. He needs this role, which is similar to the comic I was playing later. So anyway, he turns around. He's like, fuck this shit. Screw him. I'm going to get him. So all of a sudden you see he's in the dressing room and he's just looking. He's just peeking around.
And grab some rope.
Yes.
While he's watching over him behind the the stack of clothes on a curtain.
Yeah,
so.
like the beginning. He's holding this rope. He's like, I'm going to do it. So he goes.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, this whole thing is kind of like a callback to the beginning.
The opening. Yeah. And then he's looking and he just can't. He's got like his conscience comes into play. He's like, no, I can't. And then the guy rubs it in his face. He's like, what, you come in here to congratulate me? Well, right. And then he's just like I was about to kill you. And he's like, well, I hope you learned something. All this is bull. It's not about art. It's about, basically, the people want to come see the show, right? They're going to pay to see the show. They want something to look at. And basically, you ain't got it. So it doesn't matter how good, it's total bullshit. I mean, look at Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi has a fantastic career and people pay. So anyway, this guy keeps talking shit. So he starts strangling him and he quotes Hamlet and the guy goes, what? He goes, that's Hamlet, you dick. He kills while he's killing him.
Oh, yeah.
And then he throws him out. He disposes his body like a hamper. I don't know how he's going to get away with this. He throws him inside like a little hamper in the back room of a dressing room.
Yeah, he manages to get him into some kind of like laundry room, Hitman style, and just dumps his body into the into the laundry chute or in this laundry basket here.
Yeah,
the one that he pushed with the wheels on him.
Yeah, and then he puts on the costume, and then he goes out and he tells John Astin, right? He says he left. Right? He goes, well, there's a shot too, because he tries to open the door, make sure it's locked, and it is locked, right? But he walks away, and then the camera goes to the peephole, and you can see somebody's there sitting, and you hear kind of like, I think, somebody on the phone saying hello or something, like I forgot.
Somebody's slouching over the desk, and all you really hear is the phone ringing, but he's
that's
not moving.
Yeah, I thought it was
that's kind of the shot we got of Lovitz hearing the phone ring.
Yeah, so
and then it transitions back to like the
play.
Back to the stage area of the play.
Lovitz does not have the suit on yet. He comes out and he says that the other guy left, and he goes, he left. He goes, yes, it's the worst case of stage fright I've ever seen. He goes,
yeah.
And by the way, the names I believe not besides I think Barry Bile is in the comic, but the guy's name John Astin is Howell, I think Howell or one of them. But that is actually one of the characters in the comic, because in the comic there's 3 actors that show up at a castle kind of thing, and they see that it's a play being going to be brought of Hamlet. So they all 3 go in and they're trying to get the role, because all of them have been hungry, kind of like what happened to Barry. So they're all hungry, they're starving, they need money, and they're actors and they want to get the part. So they said, oh, they all go together, even though one of them says, no, don't worry about it. Let me talk to them. So this guy goes first. He gets a part for the gravedigger. So he's going to be the gravedigger. Then the other guy goes, oh, I'll go. Don't worry. We'll get it together. And he goes and he gets a part too. So there's one guy left who goes, oh, there's nothing for me. That's the only part I got to pretty much, because it was a long comic. And I'm like, I wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
The episode is much better than the comic. So the guy who wrote this episode, he did a good job, because this, like I said, condensing into one character, making it, he did a really good job. But anyway, he gives him the part. He gives Lovitz the part, and then Lovitz goes, he's dressing. He turns around, and John Astin and everybody's there, and he's doing the lines. They go, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm getting ready for the role. I'm remembering my lines for Hamlet. And he goes, you're not Hamlet, right? He goes, I'm Hamlet. Did you see when you came in, I was doing the lines? And it was this guy who was like this Keanu Reeves type of dude going, oh, word, like a weirdo.
Hey, dude. I'm playing Hamlet.
So he goes, oh, so who am I playing? And he goes, where's the tag? So the prop guy goes, he gets the tag, and he goes, Yorick, but Yorick's been dead for 20 years when the play starts. And he goes, yeah, well, we cast you for the skull, because somebody stole the skull. That's what they were complaining about when the play started, when they walked in, that they misplaced the skull. And he goes, you're fucking nuts, because he sees the bag, a bloody bag, and he runs to go out, and then he realizes, oh shit, I'm stuck with this body, and there's no way out of that door. He ends up getting out in that door and discovering, because he sees all these keys. So he unlocks himself, and that guy that we saw sitting in that chair is a dead orderly, and the phone's been off the hook, and he turns around and he sees that basically this little extra room that he's been auditioning in and shit is part of this insane asylum that all these guys got out of. Was it an insane asylum or a prison? I don't remember, but
it said mental institution. It was written somewhere on the guy's shirt that was dead. Yeah, you found the guy that was slumped over we saw earlier. He's dead, and yeah, this was all. And you see other people dead too. Like they're in between that room, and then there's some. You can see their cells and everything. So that was a really cool little twist and surprise there. I didn't really see coming. I guess when we summarize this whole thing, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how all this happened, and it's like how long has they been taking? How long have they took this over? Because that there was an ad right there outside of that casting room, so that part was a little bit sketch, but the idea of it really cool. I like the execution of this.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Then I mean, Lovitz sold it once you realize, oh shit, like these fucking nuts are gonna kill me.
And the skull looked great.
And then you see John Astin pick up the axe, and then you see him right before it cuts out. You get a nice axe in the back.
Yeah, and then they show the skull.
That was a cool scene.
It fades back into the skull with one eye, and the skull looks really good because it's like that looks really good.
It's just his face or his peeled skull. It's like all you see is just his skin with the mouth open like a mask.
Yeah,
they just took his skull,
and they were
with one eyeball in his socket, and you see like that same alleyway he came through, and the cops showing up about to raid the place.
They go, what did they say? They said something along the lines of like, he says something like, I knew his skull would be perfect. Like that's what they wanted the most was this. They're really fucking crazy. Yeah,
it's like his jawbone. Yeah, they were looking for that good skull.
So then the cops come. I think this scene kind of fucked up. I don't know what happened. Something must have happened that they didn't get the shot the first time, because then they go through the garbage, but then it transitions to closer to the garbage, and then you see John Lovitz the skin. Like they masterfully took off the skin from the skull, and they left one eye still stuck with the skin of his head, and then this dog comes and grabs it and takes it away. And I was like, oh wow, that was interesting.
The makeup on that, or just the work they did, was
pretty
really,
good.
Really good.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. So so that was the this episode, which was great. Then the Crypt Keeper. I think this is probably like when he started getting really campy. I know I said before he started to get campy, like season 2 in a certain episode, but like really here, I don't. This was like one of the campiest lines he says at the end, where he goes, "What do you mean he's taking a beating?" When he talks about his agent, he said to call his agent, and he goes, "What do you mean he's taking a beating?"
I'm calling my agent.
Yeah. So, but while we're talking about this for a second, and we're still on this episode, let me tell you, we had to ask our boy John Lovitz a question. And a few questions, actually. And this is what he had to say about this episode. So this is John Lovitz talking about this episode.
Hello, John Young. John Lovitz here. I hope your podcast is going well. Creeps of the Crypt. And yes, I had a lot of fun doing it. And I will answer your questions. Number 1. Were you a fan of the original DC Comics? I guess so, but I never really read Tales of the Crypt. Did they take a mold of your head for the last scene, and did you get to keep it? They did. They took they make a face of they cover your face with this, like strips of plaster Paris, and then they have like a negative, and then they fill it up with a mold, and then it gets a positive. So it's like my hand on my face like this, and then it leaves the imprint in here. Then they fill it up with a mold, and it fills it up, and then you have the positive, this. And I didn't get to keep it. I was very upset. I wanted to keep it, but then I realized I never asked for it, because I think I didn't want my head. But I think they still have, the company that made it still has it. Did they offer you this role because of your Master Thespian character on SNL? Or did you audition for the part? Neither. I was friends with Joel Silver, the producer, and he asked me to do one. And I read it, and it was playing an actor, you see. I wasn't playing Master Thespian. So it felt like I was playing kind of how I felt as an actor before I got Saturday Night Live and work, which is you're like desperate to work, you'll do anything. And anything you can recall from about filming the episode? Well, yeah, it was a great cast. You had John Astin from the Addams Family, who I grew up watching, and Bruce Boxleitner was great. And the three of us, we had a lot of fun. And the scene when we're in the closet, it was so small, and then John starts yelling so loud, and the three of us kept laughing because it was so absurd. And I think Louise Fletcher was in it. She was great woman. I got to star with her in High School High. God bless her. The nicest lady ever. And then I think Sandra Bernhard was in it. And it was a lot of fun. And Todd Holland directed it, and he was great. I had a lot of fun doing that Tales of the Crypt. I would say a highlight of my career. A lot of fun.
Well, that was pretty cool. And I tell you, these actors, when you remind them of something they did that they're not really known for, they do kind of get excited that somebody remembers them other than of their main, the main thing they're known for, Like, he's probably...
For sure, yeah.
People probably ask about The Critic all the time, and they probably ask about not SNL, or some part he had in some movie. When they hear this...
That great scene he had at Little Nicky, that was a good scene in the beginning he was in.
Yeah, so we reached out to John Lovitz because we're good friends with him, and I'm good friends with him. He knows me very well. But yeah, I forgot. I don't know if I mentioned Sandra Bernhard was in it, but yeah, she played the woman in the beginning. I think I did. I thought she was going to be that. I don't know what was so popular about her. Like she was such a big deal back in the day. She was even in an episode of Sopranos.
I don't know. I seen her in a few things. I know she was in Tough Crowd.
But anyway, so what would you give this episode all in all?
You may or may not be surprised, but I really like this one. I know I've seen it before and enjoyed it, but I get to enjoy a little bit more of the nuances that we were talking about earlier. A lot of some foreshadowing from the beginning until later on, where he was fake killing for an audition, and then he was really killing for the audition. So I like that. I like the twist they had in this one. It's got a little bit of an issue how that whole thing happened, but I think I think for the sake of just how this show works, we've talked about our own prior grievances with some of the kind of plot holes or inconsistencies with that logic and how long this asylum was taken over and all that shit. But it was good. Lovitz was great in this. I think even he had pretty good chemistry with the guy that he was supposed to be rivaling against. They just had good on-screen chemistry with what the story was, and yeah, everybody was good in this one. I liked the effects they had for this at the end with Lovitz's head and the twist for sure. I think definitely made it. I'm going to go with a 4 out of 5. I think it was a really well made episode. I definitely rewatch this again, at least for this season.
I'm thinking, I think 4 out of 5. Yeah, this season actually, for some reason, I feel like I'm rating a lot of episodes a lot higher than I thought I would, because they're not great, but I really like them. They're solid, a lot of them. It's really weird because I thought this season wasn't going to be a good one, and so far, I think there's only one that I gave and they're not bad episodes that I gave a 2 to yet. There hasn't been one that's been that bad. I mean, maybe it was the first episode, I think, the Love to Death. I think that was probably the lowest rated one, I think. Yeah, the first 2 episodes. But I guess 3, 4, and 5 are so strong, that, yeah, 4 out of 5. I think 3, 4, and 5 should have opened up the season, to be honest, because those are the strongest episodes. And they went with...
Yeah, it would have been a good, consistent start to it, because the first one... I thought I liked it at first, but just going back to it, it's like, there wasn't a whole lot there for me. I guess once we kind of broke it down a bit,
it's too reminiscent of Till Death. So Love to Death was like Till Death is like whatever. I like this ending. I think that when I re-saw this episode, when I first got the DVD box set, I was like, oh my god! I don't think I remembered this episode when I first saw it again. So this was like the first time I saw it. So when I saw the ending, I was like, oh, I like this one. This is a good ending. How did I not see this one? So yeah, very good. And it's not because we talk, the reason why we reached out to John Lovitz is because I liked this episode, and I think Alan liked it too. And I'm like, I got to see what he thinks about this episode. So Yes, it was already going to be rated that. It wasn't because he was on that I rated it higher. Same thing with I think to be fair with Leah Thompson, I think I elevated my rating a little bit because speaking to her and finding out the thing, because I know for a fact because we were talking a lot of shit in one video that we never
talking
uploaded.
about her terrible New York accent
and how she got the
talked
role.
about, she confirmed that she just did it because it's her husband. It was. Yeah, that's good enough. Let's do it.
But yeah, I was like,
Ham it up a bit.
I can't put that part in there. I gotta get rid of that. So I think I gave her a little better because she was nice enough to talk about the episode, and she was honest. She said it was a terrible New York accent, which was one of the only things that she knew. She was trying something new. But anyway, she was a nice lady. So I do think I elevated my score originally a little bit higher, but it was still not bad. That episode's not that. Actually, you were fair. You were consistent with your rating, so I elevated mine a little bit. But nice woman. But yeah, so we normally don't elevate our ratings. Lee Ehrenberg was fucking. That's a great episode with a voice, and then Sam.
Oh yeah, hearing his story was great too. Just how you brought up with Lovitz and how people get asked questions that they probably don't get asked often. So and he seemed really genuinely excited to been a part of the show.
So Lee. How many times do you think Leah?
Everybody really.
How many times do you think Leah Thompson has to talk about Back to the Future?
Yeah, exactly. It's just that's all she gets asked about. I'm sure,
yeah.
or maybe if she banged Howard the Duck.
Oh yeah, that was it. I wonder if anyone ever asked her that shit. That'd be hilarious. What was it like banging Howard? And then she's gonna be like, Howard, my husband's name is
Howard
Howie.
Bigger than your husband?
Yeah, because my husband's Howie. What are you talking about? Her husband's Howie, right? Howie Deutsch. So she probably thinks it's her husband talking about. Like, we're asking, how was it like banging Howard? She'd be like, my husband? Are you fucking sick? I'm not answering this question. No, the duck. Oh, you pervert. You know? But no. Anyway.
Either way you lose, but it's a great question nonetheless.
Yeah. So that was this episode of Creeps of the Crypts, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new here. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about this episode in general, of the actual Tales from the Crypt episode, not of our podcast. You can also tell us what you thought about the podcast in general. I know we got a lot to work on. We're going to be editing it. The background's going to change. So there you go. Like I said, you go to locals in the description down below. In the description box, there's a link that says community. Go to our locals for $2 a month. You're going to get the unedited version of this podcast, even stuff we recorded before, where I talked. You're going to get the edited version of this podcast. You're going to get the audio unedited versions of these podcasts. And and also extra stuff we're going to be working on too. And for $2 a month, I don't think that's that terrible. Also, you should check out ghostcrusadersmerch.com. I got some interesting merchandise coming up. There's a lot of cool t-shirts there already available. And you can also follow us on the links in the video right here you see below. You see it says like Rumble and iTunes and Spotify and X. Or it'd be there. No, it's there. X. Yeah. So, follow us on all our socials. Well, Alan, you can follow
get on it.
On Splinter47 on X if you want to tell him, curse him out or anything.
Get on it, guys. And then the shirts. You got to mention the shirts. And we're cheaper than a cup of coffee, so take that with what you will.
Yeah, right? That's crazy.
Well, not the shirts, the membership.
Yeah. Well, the shirts are cheap too.
I don't want anybody to get incorrect on that one.
But the membership $2 a month is really pretty good. Also, you're gonna get a lot of stuff on there, I promise. But I can't really say exactly what yet, though. That's the thing. But I'm thinking about we're gonna do the comics. I do want to do commentaries that are gonna be up there for at least the first 2 films. I don't know how we're gonna work that out, but yeah, we'll figure it out. And anyway, we will talk to you guys next time.
Peace.